Emario eriku bondi. That is a very common lingo among traders lately. So the bond becomes a very big deal. But the formal language, of course, is a bonded warehouse. But the traders commonly just refer to them as bondi. And there are many scattered all over the country, with many of them in Kampala here, many of them in the suburbs, and then we do have a good number of them up country. But have you ever asked yourself what a customs bonded warehouse really is? Now, if you have, we are going to get the answers today, because in today's episode of the Land Tax Uganda podcast, we do have the privilege of having Brenda again, our expert, who is going to be breaking down for us what the customs bonded warehouse is and all the other nitty-gritties surrounding the operations of the customs bonded warehouse. Without wasting a minute, please allow me to bring her into the show. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
It's a privilege to have you again.
Thank you.
And we are definitely going to be tackling the big monkey in the room, and that is none other than the bonds, or should I say the customs bonded warehouse. And we are going to dive right into it. What is a customs bonded warehouse?
In simple terms, a customs bonded warehouse is a store or a place that is appointed and licensed by the customs commissioner customs to store goods for a given period of time, goods that have not paid their taxes. So these are imported goods brought into the country, and you have not immediately paid the taxes related to these goods. So they are kept for a specific time, until the time when you are able to pay the taxes and remove them from that customs bonded warehouse. Now, we call it bonded because this location bears a security in favor of the Commissioner Customs, so that in case those goods are destroyed or are lost, the Commissioner can be able to recover the tax related to the goods which were placed in that bond, as long as they followed the right process of entering into the bond. So there is a process to enter into the bond, and the goods are covered with this bond, and then there's a process to remove the goods from that bond, having paid the taxes that are required. That is a customs bonded warehouse. So it has to fulfill specific conditions that the Commissioner will put in place. So it is not just any store, but it is something which is set up and conditioned in a certain manner.
Learning is taking place already. What clearly this means is it's not about erecting a building somewhere, big storage facility, and you tell people come and store your goods here.
No. The Commissioner has to allow that and acknowledge that this place is suitable to store goods that bear taxes on them. Remember, you imported goods into the country. When you were crossing the border, you did not pay the tax. And so there is a tax element that government is demanding from these goods. And so where you place these goods is of government interest. And that's why it's a bonded customs warehouse. And the Commissioner sets specific conditions that you are supposed to fulfill as a customs bonded warehouse owner, so that if you are to set up this facility, there are specific conditions. The security is very pertinent. The facilities, because you're managing cargo, which has tax on it. So the management of that cargo is very critical to customs and to the country. So how you manage that cargo, the way in which you manage it, the security around it is very pertinent to customs, so that when you place that cargo in that warehouse, it is secure, physically secure, and also monetarily secure.
I like that. Secure physically, secure financially.
Yes.
That sets us up very nicely for the second question. Let's say God blessed me with a fortune and I want to set up bonded warehouse, and I go and I erect a building, put all these installations in place. How then do I make that warehouse a bonded warehouse?
Yes, there is a process that you have to follow. You must apply to the Commissioner Customs. And when you apply, your facility is inspected. Of course, in your application, you're describing who is this, who is the owner, the description, the space that you're availing for this procedure, what facilities you have availed in this space, and what favors customs in any case. So when you present these details, customs will go ahead and come and inspect it, confirm as to whether it meets the standards that Commissioner has put in place. And once those standards are met, then a license will be issued. And then you have to execute this cover that we talked about, a security to cover the goods which are inside that bond.
It's on me, the bond owner.
Yes, it's an insurance, customs, we call it a customs bond. So it's a cover to make sure that the goods which are put inside that store are not, in case they are damaged, customs can recover the tax related to those goods. So when you have completed that, then you'll be given a number which identifies you as a board. It is not, apart from the name that you bear, we identify you as a number. So that number is how we identify that customs bonded warehouse.
I've been seeing a lot of bonded warehouses, or should I say warehouses, along the industrial park here on this Ginger Road Highway with numbers, and I had never understood the significance of those numbers.
Yeah, that is an indication that this is a bonded warehouse, customs bonded warehouse, number W223. So it's identifying this location as a customs bonded warehouse. And in our process or our system clearance, our system recognizes that number as a location where you can store goods which are still under customs. They have not yet been cleared for utilization and consumption on the market.
Nice. Tell us about the goods that are stored in a customs bonded warehouse.
Well, when you intend to store goods in a customs warehouse, you choose which bonded warehouse you want to utilize. So you choose the bonded warehouse, and then, of course, the goods that you have declared at the border, right from Mombasa, will be declared on the necessary documentation. Then there is a document which moves those goods from the border to inland. When you come inland, that document bears the bond number that you chose. So the goods will be moved to that bond, and then you will be told to make a declaration to put those goods in the warehouse. So we identify as customs, we identify that these goods have been entered into a specific bond through the documentation you present, and which bears the bond number. We call it an IM7. So it bears an S as its identity code. So it will be S66 something. So that shows that these goods are warehoused. They are in a bonded warehouse. They have not paid the due taxes. So they are stored and they have not yet paid the due taxes. So when you receive such a document, taxes are not yet paid, but the goods have been warehoused. We sometimes use the word a suspense regime, and that's why it has the letter S. So this document is showing that these goods have been stored and they have not yet been cleared for utilization on the market. So we still are demanding a tax on those goods.
Still about those goods, are all goods storable, or there are some goods that I'm not mandated to store as a trader who's bringing in goods?
Okay, by the law, because we use the East African Customs Management Act.
Yes.
So by law, there are some goods that cannot be stored. If they're explosives, if they're inflammable, if they have a certain category. The law describes the specific goods that cannot be stored. And it's for the safety of the environment and the people around.
Even the bond itself?
Yes. And also administratively, the law allows the commissioner to determine goods which may not be stored in a customs warehouse. So currently, as you are, there are some items as customs, there are items that have been lined up and said these items, this category of items cannot be stored in the warehouse. You clear them at the entry point. So you directly pay taxes, you don't store them in the warehouse. So that flexibility is...
What are some of these? Just give me like 2, 3, 4 examples for the benefit of the viewer.
I would say like inflammable items, cylinders which can burst. There are items such as flammable items, goods which are not easily stored, even for you as an individual, not easily.
I have them comfortably in the house, yes.
Goods which may have strong odors and all that. So you may not be able to store such cargo in the warehouse. But then there are items where customs decided administratively you will not be storing this cargo in the warehouse. So customs requires that you make a declaration straight. For example, fuel is not bonded.
You clear at the port.
You clear straight from the port and pay taxes. So such an item does not, we are not warehousing it, it's cleared at the port straight out.
Perfect, perfect. I have just a few more questions concerning this important issue of the bonded warehousing. Let's say I've stored some goods that are brought in the bonded warehouse, but I don't have enough to clear them in one go. Do I have the leverage or the opportunity to clear them in bits?
Yes, you do. As long as that declaration we talked about, when you are putting the goods in the warehouse, you're giving the detail that these are the goods of so and so, they are in this quantity, they are of this weight, they are of this description. So as long as what you have put in, you remove part, but with the same quantities, with the same description, you don't alter the description. So what you put into the warehouse, you should be able to remove as long as those quantities are the right quantities and not beyond what you put in. So you're removing less and you're not removing more than what you put in, because the system will not allow you to remove what you didn't put there. So that is a possibility, but you must maintain this description and the details of the items that you put in the warehouse. So we call that an ex-warehousing entry, and it's another process, but the consistency must be there to maintain the right record in the warehouse and also with customs.
Thank you so much. How are goods declared for storage, and how is the process managed?
Well, when you bring the goods from the border, they're declared on what we call an IM7, like I said, an S entry, and you put them in the warehouse. The opportunity you have at the first entry is you have 6 months to warehouse those goods.
6 months?
6 months. And when before the 6 months expire, you can be allowed to extend for 3 months according to the law. You may or you may not be given that opportunity, or you can extend for another 3 months. Still, it is not a right, it's optional. So, and depending on the status of the goods. So, if you're given that extension, then you make sure that at the end of that warehousing period, you're able to clear out the cargo, all of it. If you do not release it out, then it will move to another regime where it will be subject to another process.
You talked about 6 months.
Yes.
Then you talked about an additional.
Yes.
That's about 9 months, the possibility, the extended spell.
Yes.
And after that,
another 3 months.
In the event that time has elapsed and it moves on to the next regime that you indicated, what am I looking at?
In case your goods have stayed longer than the law allows, customs, we say these are goods which have not paid taxes.
True.
And the law allows you a specific time. It's not endless. So customs will be obliged to dispose of these goods and recover the tax. So we are looking for the tax in these goods. We are not interested actually taking away the goods, but we are interested in the tax that has been held up in these goods. So customs will conduct an auction, a public auction, but will give you an opportunity to recover your goods. When we notify the public that these goods are out for auction, you have the opportunity to come and recover your goods. If you don't do that within about 30 days, then the goods will be sold and will recover the tax that was held up in those goods. So you find that this is a delayed tax because at the time when you entered into the country, that is when the tax was due. But now you have held it up until this time when we have had to auction the goods. So it causes, of course, a cost on disposal and a delay in taxes, in collection of taxes. So that is the downside of it.
I hear you. I hear you. You talked about parameters that must be met by a person operating a bonded warehouse. What are some of these expectations that URA has on the owner of a bonded warehouse?
We expect you to, one, to secure this cargo, create a place that is secure, physically secure, that these goods are not accessed by anybody, anyhow. We also expect you to provide facilities that can help in examining or checking this cargo. Then we expect you to store this cargo in an orderly manner, stacked, well labeled, for someone to identify that this is my cargo, it entered on this date and has stayed there for this number of days. So there must be order and a clear record of everything that has entered into that bonded warehouse. So there must be accountability on the part of the customs warehouse owner. Then we expect that this bonded warehouse is lockable and secured every time that it is utilized. So that accountability is very critical and is required of customs bonded warehouse owner.
Thank you so much. Now, are there scenarios where the license can be revoked?
Yes.
By customs?
Yes. If this license is misused, for example, you cannot account for this cargo and you are not taking record of what has come in. And there are incidents of offenses happening within your area. for which you're not taking responsibility. So in that case, the commissioner has the liberty, the right to revoke the license, just as you fulfill certain conditions to obtain the license. Equally, the commissioner has conditions you must fulfill to maintain it. If you cannot, it will be revoked. And even the space, is the space being utilized? I may give you a license and no one is utilizing that space, and yet customs officers are assigned.
They are deployed there.
Yes. So there must be value.
They're superintending over nothing.
Yeah, so there must be value in what you are giving us. So is there business in your customs bonded warehouse? Are people utilizing the space? Are the goods secure? Am I recovering revenue from that bonded warehouse as I must, as the commissioner customs? So those are things that the commissioner takes into consideration to maintain your license in that place. But more so, accountability. Are goods being accounted for? Can you account for what entered and what has gone out in the right quantities? If that is put in question, then you may lose your license.
100%. Very last question is a light one, and it's maybe for the benefit of a viewer who has been watching this particular episode and they're thinking to themselves, warehouse, bonded warehouse, so it must actually be a building. Is it a must that a bonded warehouse must be a building? Because I know some tradable items are not necessarily items that you can pack in a building.
Yes, like for example, we have the car bonded warehouses. Many of them are open. We also have steel bonded warehouses which are open. So the nature of cargo stored will determine the nature of the bonded warehouse. But there are specifics. Security. Is this place enclosed? Is it secure? Is there visibility, like CCTV cameras, that contributes to the security? So all these are elements that are taken into consideration. For example, cars, you may not necessarily have a covered bond with an open bond, but is it secure? Is it earmarked? Is it accessible? Is it in a location that is accessible? So there are many factors that are put forth, and that's why we conduct an inspection to make sure that this place is a place where we can entrust cargo that has not paid taxes to be.
Thank you so much, Brenda. The very, 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 very last question is a question on whether URA Customs has a mechanism in place to ensure that the operations of these bonded warehouses are monitored on real time.
Yes, we have staff positioned in all these bonded warehouses, and they monitor the cargo coming in. They monitor the cargo going out. We have procedures in place. Like I mentioned, there's an entry that you must present. And there are procedures on how that cargo is entered and declared to customs. There are procedures of monitoring the duration you have stayed. We also monitor how long you've stayed in that bond, so that if the duration is due, then we identify those goods and put them out for auction. And then we monitor what is coming out to make sure that the cargo that has come in is what has come out and the taxes are collected. So this is a facility to just support you who has imported cargo, to give you some time to pay tax. And so it is a facilitative measure to enable you clear your taxes. And so customs is present there, and customs staff are available there. So we must make sure that it is secure enough to protect the cargo which is there and to protect the tax element in that cargo that is there. And that's why we talked of a bond over that cargo.
Thank you so much, Brenda. It's been a pleasure hosting you for this episode. You have really helped us to appreciate a little bit more about, bonded warehouses and how they operate. We look forward to having you a lot more to demystify these customs issues. I know some viewers are still having a billion questions concerning customs. The promise is, with people like Brenda and other experts that we have here at our disposal, we shall be able to unpack these, and then a time will come when you know just as much as the people on this other side. Solomon Kimbugwe is my name, and it's been a pleasure to host you viewers for this particular episode of the Land Tax Uganda podcast. We promise you much more. Don't go nowhere. Adios.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.